OSU sports are in full swing and the weather is changing, or so I'm told, but that can only mean one thing: fall is here. Catch up on all things OSU right here, only on the Poke Report. Welcome to the Poke Report. I'm Curtis QUILLIN.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. Starting off, we have a quick recap of the Big 12 Conference. The Sooners pulled off the comeback against the Volunteers on Saturday, winning in double overtime against Tennessee in Knoxville.
Baylor led FCS opponent Lamar, put up 31 points in their non-conference matchup, yet more than doubled the Cardinals' point total in the 66-31 victory, and clearly defense is not a priority in Waco.
In the battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy, the Iowa State Cyclones fell to Iowa 31-17. Kansas lost again this week, getting blown out to Memphis at home.
Kansas State shut down today's Cowboy opponent UTSA 30-3. The Wildcats defense has only allowed 3 points so far this season. Texas got its first win of the season against Rice, but it wasn't enough to save Steve Patterson's job as athletic director. He was fired on Tuesday, supposedly because of his management style and booster relations.
Texas Tech blew out UTEP last week after a less than impressive start in their season opener against Sam Houston State. And now they take on Arkansas.
West Virginia smacked around FCS Cupcake Liberty 41-17. They face a much tougher opponent next week when they take on Maryland and former Cowboy quarterback Dax Garman. And with TCU's 70-7 win over Stephen F. Austin, we shift our focus back here to Stillwater and to the Pokes. More than 52,000 Cowboy fans filled the seats here at Boone Pickens Stadium, eager to see Mason Rudolph's home debut.
And that's right, Curtis. OSU had plenty to showcase in their home opener. But hold your horses. Megan Bordeo has more on how the Cowboys turned a slow start into a strong finish.
The Cowboys look to continue their improvement after recently cracking the top 25. Last weekend, the Cowboys defeated Central Arkansas 32-8. After his fifth career start and first game in Boone Pickens Stadium, quarterback Mason Rudolph had a career high of 401 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys went up 3-0 early in the first after a Ben Grogan field goal put the Cowboys on the board. Later in the quarter, Rudolph connected on a 26-yard pass with Brandon Shepard for a Cowboy first down that led to a 21-yard touchdown by Chris Carson, putting the Cowboys up 10-0 going into the second. Although the Cowboys didn't put up points in the second quarter, neither did the Bears, as both teams went scoreless to end the half.
I thought the defense was excellent, continued to make plays, and we tackled better in this game. I thought we improved in that area.
Gundy says the defense is good at keeping teams from running the football, and that if they continue to do that, the defense will be promising this year. The Cowboys entered the second half up 10-0, and a 67-yard touchdown from Rudolph to David Glidden opened up the third quarter and put the Cowboys up 17-0. The Bears responded with a 39-yard pass from quarterback Taylor Reed, and then with a successful 2-point conversion to put UCA on the board.
Touchdown!
The Cowboys ended the third with a 22-yard field goal, giving the Cowboys the 20-8 lead heading into the fourth. Glidden's second TD of the night put the Cowboys up 26-8 after a blocked PAT. In garbage time, Walsh replaced Rudolph to end the sophomore's career night. Walsh connected with Jeremy Seaton on a 6-yard pass to give the Cowboys the final touchdown of the game. But another blocked extra point left the Cowboys more concerned than ever about their special teams.
We need to continue to improve in all 3 phases. There's areas that we had improvement from the last game, which I was pleased with. There's some areas that we need to continue to work at as we progress through the season. But we have a healthy football team. Our energy level, attitude's really good. I like how our coaches are working at this time. So we're into the third week and just moving forward.
The Cowboys end their non-conference schedule against UTSA today and hope to finish strong going into Big 12 play. For the Poke Report, I'm Megan Bordeo.
Oklahoma State looks to go 3-0 against UTSA at home. The Cowboys strive to stay undefeated as they take on the Roadrunners, who are recently coming off a loss against Kansas State. Curtis, imagine what it would be like to play against your hometown school.
I wouldn't know what that's like, but for several Cowboys this afternoon, that just happens to be the case.
We've got a number of players from that Central Texas area, and it's always good for those guys to compete against teams from that part of the state. We get a lot of young men that come and play here because we play so many schools from the state of Texas.
What Mike Gundy is talking about this time is the 9 Cowboys who are from the San Antonio area. Redshirt junior Austin Hayes was a late signee in OSU's 2012 recruiting class. In fact, Hayes was in the Reagan High School auditorium watching his friends, including Oklahoma quarterback Trevor Knight, sign their letters of intent. Redshirt sophomore Vincent Taylor was the San Antonio Express News Player of the Year in 2012 as a defensive tackle at Madison, where redshirt senior linebacker Chris Catlin also played.
We just go out there, get a chance to compete against guys we went to high school and middle school with, and just go out there and have fun and talk to those guys after the game. Jarvion Williams, I went to middle school with him, but we went to different high schools, so I got a chance to play against him on both levels.
Sophomore cornerback Ramon Richards also played quarterback in high school near downtown San Antonio at Brackenridge. Redshirt freshman punter Zach Siner is from Medina Valley High School, which lies in Castroville, about 15 to 20 miles west of San Antonio. Trey Flowers is from Judson High School. 3 Cowboys attended Steele High School in nearby Cibolo on the northeast side. Deontay Noel, a redshirt freshman offensive lineman, joins linebacker Ryan Simmons and safety Jordan Stearns. In fact, Stearns and Simmons beat OSU quarterback J.W. Walsh in the 2010 state title game.
UTSA was my first offer. I got a lot of respect for them. I know a lot of the guys on the team, so like I said, it should be pretty fun. We walk around, always talking about San Antonio. It's better than any other area, city that players are from.
Today, those 9 Cowboys suit up against their hometown team, a 5th-year UTSA program. For the Poke Report, I'm Curtis Quillen.
It will be interesting to see how those players make an effect on the game later on. Now for some cowgirl tennis. The preseason rankings were released on Tuesday. Junior Victoria Lushkova is ranked number 12 in the nation after back-to-back All-American seasons. 2 pairs of doubles are also ranked for OSU, snagging the 35th and 36th positions in the preseason poll. When we come back, we show you how OSU uses a certain formation to gain advantage on the soccer pitch. All of that and more when we come back on the Poke Report.
Welcome back to the Poke Report. We're here in beautiful Boone Pickens Stadium. I'm Curtis Quillen alongside Amelia Henderson. One OSU football team is looking to defend its home turf, while another is traveling, trying to dominate their non-conference opponents on the road. OSU soccer traveled to the West Coast last week, where they played Washington State and Gonzaga. Zach Baden catches us up.
Knocked out by Tresby.
The saying goes, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. So the Cowgirls did, trading a sweltering Florida for the more temperate Great Northwest. Friday night lights and a nationally televised match set the stage in Pullman against the undefeated Cougars. Coach Colin Carmichael says Washington State's style of play made it a difficult matchup.
Washington State play like Texas Tech. They play a 4-4-2 with a box midfield, so they overload the middle. And so we have to tweak our system just a little bit to deal with it. It's very difficult.
Carmichael's fears came true almost instantly. The midfield pressure created a counterattack opportunity, and Caitlin Johnson played a ball forward for Courtney Gutline at the top of the box. The senior forward won the race and chipped over goalie Michaela Ongaro in the second minute. But OSU equalized later in the first half. Cougar keeper Ella Dederick punched away Courtney DK's initial attempt off a corner, but she couldn't stop DK's second effort, who hammered in her third of the season across the face of goal. Unfortunately, the change in climate didn't equal a change in fortune. Late-game pressure cost the Cowgirls again as it had in Gainesville. Gutline launched another shot that Ongaro stopped but couldn't trap, and Kara Wenger was able to knock it home in the 87th, allowing Washington State to maintain its perfect record. Senior midfielder Madison Mercado says the Cowgirls were missing a winning edge, but remained confident.
I can't pinpoint it exactly, just something just a little bit more with us to get us over that hump, and I think once we do, we'll just be rolling from there.
The team had to find that something quick with only one day to prepare for Gonzaga, but apparently they did. OSU sat back early in the first half, letting Gonzaga enjoy most of the possession. patience paid off in the 39th minute when Allie Stevenson won and sent the ball into space for freshman forward Haley Woodard. Taking advantage of the stretch defense, she forced Ariana Pompelli into a costly turnover that Woodard slotted near post to give the Cowgirls the lead, her second of the year. Less than 5 minutes into the second half, they doubled their advantage on one of the rarest goals in soccer. Mario Zeller won a corner, and on the ensuing kick, Christina Jean Charles whipped the ball near post, missing everyone and ending up in the back of the net for the coveted Olympico. Keeper Christy Tombari probably should have done better. Still, surely is it a goal that Jean Charles and the Cowgirls won't soon forget. But she says she actually saw it before the game.
I visualize before games, and I actually visualize scoring in the back of the post like that on a corner kick, but near post is fine, I guess.
Ongaro had her first clean sheet since beating Georgia 4-0, and OSU prevailed 2-0, snapping its 3-game skid. For the Poke Report, I'm Zach Baden.
A game plan is everything. Coach Colin Carmichael talked about the fact that the Cowboys have implemented a 4-3-3, which gives them some more tactical flexibility.
And Matt McGann was with former OSU defender Bailey Burmaster, who explains how a 4-3-3 formation works and what it looks like.
I'm here with Bailey Burmaster, pride of the OSU soccer alumni, and we're here to show you about the 4-3-3 formation. She's here, she has a master in the skill, she has a master in the formation, and she's here to show us how it works and how we're going to execute it for our future opponents. All right, Bailey, beginning the stages of the 4-3-3, what are we to expect?
So you're going to have 4 in the back, which is your defense, obviously, and Colin likes to play this formation because it's easy to build out of the back. You can start with your center backs and even use your goalie to help distribute the ball out wide, which he's trying to do so he can use those channels.
All right, so using these channels, how do we expect to get the ball to the second tier?
So then that includes your midfield. You'll have 3 midfielders, depending on the team, Colin will either play with 2 attackers or 2 defensive mids. So it's just kind of how he feels, and you're going to kind of use those outside players, your right back and your left back, to distribute the ball through the middle to get in behind the opposing team's defense.
Who has the greatest responsibility out of these 3 midfielders? Is it the 2 in the front or the 1 in the back?
I could have a biased opinion on this because I played mostly defense. You obviously have great attacking mids like Allie Stevenson, who creates a lot, and that's their job as attacking midfield, is to create chances and give your team opportunities.
All right, so explain what you would do with the ball if you were right here in this situation.
So whether you're building out of the back and the ball ends here, or you're playing in the midfield and just fighting for the ball, if the ball's here, the places that Colin's gonna want you to find are more of these outside areas to your forwards to get the ball out and open up the other team.
So now that we're here in the final tier of the 4-3-3, tell everyone what the forwards would do.
So you kind of build up from the back and you combine to get forward, and you want to try and get your forwards behind or down the line so they can cross kind of into those spaces. Sometimes he definitely likes, they have a talented top 3 to kind of turn and take players on, because that's what he wants them to do, is just really fight for the ball, turn, take them on, beat them, and create opportunities.
Okay, so you're saying it's more structural and tactical in the back and more freelance in the forward, and that really, I guess, allows the forwards to be creative and use their own thing. Now, is that based on the OSU skill, or is that Carmichael's tactic mostly?
I think both. He does a great job at recruiting forwards who are very versatile, know how to do certain moves, and can take players on, and he likes that. He wants them to turn around, turn people, and just go at them and take them on and beat them, which gives them option to create and be free-minded. Whereas the build-up to all of that, he likes structure. He likes building out at the back. Find your midfielder, find a forward, and once it gets up top, just see what the team can create.
Yeah, that's go time. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining.
Of course.
And of course, it's Bailey Burmaster, former OSU center midfielder, right?
Yep.
He had a little bit of bias there in the middle, but of course, thank you very much for coming out and helping us. For the Poke Report, I'm Matt McGann.
The Cowgirls came back home last night to play Arizona State, but they're back on the road tomorrow. They'll be in Kansas City to play UMKC. OSU women's golf tied for 4th with conference foe Iowa State at the branch law firm Dick McGuire Invitational in Albuquerque. The Cowgirls shot 3 over, which propelled them over 5 top 25 teams. OSU improved by 8 strokes from the last time they played in this event in 2014. They look to continue their progression today at the Schooner Fall Classic in Norman. When we come back, we show you a man who doesn't just know perseverance, he defines it. That and more when we return on the Poke Report. Welcome back to the Poke Report. I'm Curtis QUILLIN alongside, once again, Amelia Henderson. The OSU men's cross-country team recently got back from a meet in Lexington, Kentucky, where they began their season.
The team is ranked in the top 5 in the nation and is looking to repeat its championship formula.
Oklahoma State fields one of the best cross-country programs in the nation every year. But let's rewind a year back to 2014. The 2014 preseason number 4 team brought home a Big 12 championship for the 7th straight year. Under Coach Dave Smith, expectations are high when going into the season, but even higher when going into the NCAA cross-country championships in Terre Haute, Indiana. Smith has brought 3 cross-country national championships to OSU since being named head coach in 2006.
We're going to go in there and run better than we're supposed to run our best race of the season on the last day, and let the chips fall where they may.
Unfortunately, they didn't fall favorably. The 2014 season ended in disappointing fashion as the Pokes finished 9th overall, falling to back-to-back champion Colorado. OSU deals with the departure of number 1 man Curabel Arasa, who took first place at the 2014 Big 12 Championships in the 8,000 meter with a time of 24 minutes and 8 seconds. Although top guys are leaving, there are many who will still be with the team this season. This year the team is led by senior Craig Nowick, who finished 16th in the 2K at the NCAA Championships. Sirach Abracadon returns as a sophomore and is looking for a breakout year.
Yeah, he's had a good year and he's grown up a lot. His maturity level and his focus and his approach to training and racing has gotten much better. He's always been talented, but now I think he's on a different level kind of mentally, and he's more dialed in. I think we're going to see more and more of what we saw today as the season goes on.
Seniors Fabian Clarkson, Brian Golke, and Vergard Olstad also bring talent to a well-rounded team. But the Cowboys may have a secret weapon this season. Although he doesn't have much cross-country experience, Chad Noel has the ability to bring more speed to the course, especially after becoming the 2015 NCAA 1500-meter champion at the Outdoor Track and Field Championships. The Cowboys will look to use the talent they have to bring home an 8th straight Big 12 championship and possibly a 4th national championship since 2008.
You can't control how good anybody else is or how well anybody else runs, but if you can get yourself to run the best race of the year at the national championships, you've had a pretty good season.
OSU brings in talented freshmen in Benito Munoz from Carmel, New York, and Suki Kosla from Tallahassee, Florida. Coach Smith says this is one of the best recruiting classes OSU has ever gotten. The 10th-ranked Cowboys look to improve from their 9th place finish this year, and Coach Smith thinks they have the talent to do big things in the upcoming season.
This group of guys, they want to win, and their goal is to get out there and run for the win, and that's what we're going to do.
For the Poke Report, I'm Lucas Messina.
Coming off of 1 serious injury is always life-altering, but coming off of 2, now that's a level of perseverance few can relate to. Jordan Bland has more.
No pads, no problem. It's said to be a hooligan sport played by ruffians. Huge meatheads running around trying to kill each other every chance they get. Simple misconceptions. But Oklahoma State senior Cody Gannon says for him, it's passion. But it was a passion that was actually started by his brother.
He came back and he was talking it up, talking about how much fun it was, talking about how all the guys that are out there were really fun guys and stuff. I was like, all right, so I got to go to the next practice. Went to that next practice. I fell in love as fast as he did. Like it was just instantaneous.
For the next 8 years, rugby would take this aerospace and mechanical engineering senior to the highest highs and the lowest lows he could have ever imagined. Currently, Gannon stands as the president for the Oklahoma State Rugby Club and is one of the top leaders for the team. But there were roadblocks, some that affect him still today. In his freshman season at OSU, Gannon saw the field a bunch, so much so that once he played 6 games in a single day. But it was something his body wasn't ready for.
I tried to kick the ball downfield, and it didn't go where I wanted it to go, and so I just chased after it, and the guy that got it picked it up right as I hit him, and so he just made a nice solid base. I hit him, our legs get tangled up, we fall on the leg, and I just feel a pop and immediate pain.
After an initial diagnosis of just a sprain, things went from bad to worse. Gannon's knee would give out on once again, causing him to reevaluate his initial prognosis. The entire process took 1 full month, and the doctor said of his ACL, completely torn.
His recommendation was just take it easy, don't do a whole lot, just kind of It was build more strength on the leg because the atrophy that happens after surgery was going to affect my strength a lot, and I was going to lose a lot of muscle in my knee.
The recovery would cost Kaganin 6 to 8 months away from the rugby pitch. His first real break away from the sport he started back in his freshman year of high school. Anxious, Kaganin says, he jumped back on the field right at the 6-month mark, feeling comfortable with his recovery. However, Kaganin's body would give out on him once more, but this time at physical therapy.
First time I was upset, the second time I was angry. I was just pissed. And I knew after the second surgery, I knew exactly what I needed to do. And the doctor told me there was a torn ACL. He was like, you just weren't strong enough. And I was like, all right, this next time I will be strong enough.
Kaganin came back more focused and more determined than ever after learning his right ACL was torn again. He started hitting the gym 4, sometimes 5 times a week on top of his physical therapy. Kaganin says he did everything he could to build muscle around his knee and hasn't had any major problems since. It took Kaganin 26 months and 2 knee surgeries before ever making it back onto the field.
So of course there's several differences when it comes to football and rugby. Of course there's a lack of pads, but the footballs as well. In football, you tend to catch the ball overhand and you throw it overhand. In rugby, you tend to catch it underhand and you also throw it underhand. This year, Kaganin looks to lead the team with the group that he calls the Core Four. It includes himself, Paul Fresha, Nick Manglaris, and Jacob Kennedy.
You all work together. If you know the game, there's no reason for somebody to tell you what to do if you know what you're doing. And I don't consider anybody on the field a leader. I consider all of us more of a team.
We're the most experienced. We'd say they're most athletic, but we've got some new guys that are coming in. They're probably just as athletic or more athletic than we are. But we just understand the game so well, and we work so well together that we'll be out at practice and we'll just be running some passing drills, and we just understand where the other person's going to be all the time.
The team opens up their season against in-state rival Tulsa next weekend, September 26th at 2 p.m. on Willis Fields. For the Poke Report, I'm Jordan Bland.
We are just moments from countdown to kickoff, but before we go, here's some things to watch for around the country. You need to bounce back because I beat you in the pick'em last week. We both missed OU. I got Michigan State right, though. We'll start you off easy. College game days in Tuscaloosa. Ole Miss, Alabama. The Rebels got the win last year, but that time was at the Grove.
Yeah, I definitely have to bounce back from my performance last week in my picks. And as you know, the Tide rebuilds does not rebuild, it reloads. So I'm going with Alabama.
I'm taking Alabama too. I think Nick Saban is the best coach in college football. Let's go up to South Bend, where the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech takes on your Fighting Irish and Little Miss Indiana. They're looking to rebuild after losing their starting quarterback Malik Zaire to a season-ending injury.
Yeah, and he calls me Little Miss Indiana because I'm actually from Indiana, so of course I'm going to have to go with my Fighting Irish.
I'm taking the hometown angle too, but not because I'm from Indiana. Fellow San Antonio native Corey Robinson, son of Spurs Hall of Famer David Robinson. Look for him to have a big night. Georgia Tech's offense will eat a lot of clock, but I'm taking the Irish. In an SEC West matchup, Auburn goes to Death Valley to face the Bayou Bengals. Tigers and Tigers, LSU coming off a big win at Mississippi State. Who do you have in this one?
You know, even though LSU's first game was canceled, they are at home now, and I think that's going to give the team a huge advantage, so I'm going to have to go with LSU.
I think Gus Malzahn and Will Muschamp are the answer in this one. I'm taking Auburn on the road.
You're on.
And now back to Stillwater, Oklahoma State UTSA. I'll take first crack at this one. UTSA is a better team than people anticipate. They gave Arizona fits 2 weeks ago, and they had a lead for a long time against Kansas State. OSU wins, but it's not the blowout everyone's anticipating.
You know, I completely agree, Curtis. OSU's been winning, but it hasn't been the blowout that people have been expecting or the performance that they've been expecting. But with that being said, I still think they're going to come out with a win.
And for all of us here at the Poke Report, I'm Curtis Quillen. Thank you for watching.
And as always,
go Pokes. Countdown to kickoff is next.